Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. So today we are on Little Slayer's account and we're going to be doing a viewer summons, and this is just insane. I was going through this account a little bit earlier today and looking at the bag, looking at the chest, looking at the poke coins, even looking at the scrolls. It is absolutely crazy to see the players that save just a insatiable amount of loot. I mean, even seeing here, we have 134,000 diamonds, but then looking and really breaking into this account, you can see that we have hundreds, if not thousands of resources. Even looking at scrolls, guys, we have 1,600 common scrolls. Do you know how long it takes to save up 1,600 scrolls? Faction scrolls, we have a ton, even sitting in 1,000 stargazers. But then when we go through here, look at the cards, look at the chests. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on with all of the chests that this player has not used. Even here, thinking of getting Sun Jin Woo, I'm getting Shahan, I'm looking at even Hildwyn. All of these are just been saved. He's not utilizing any of these. And then we got into the furniture. So I noticed right off the bat, yeah, there we go. So Van Gogh, this is Little Slayer's account. But then I started looking and I quickly noticed, looking at all of the heroes, a majority of them are missing furniture. So when I seen this, I was like, wait a minute. A lot of these heroes are missing furniture. Even looking at Envy, has furniture on there, but looking at like the awakened version of Athalia, doesn't have furniture on there. And I was like, well, what do the poke coins look like at this point? So I hopped over to the inn. There are almost 2 million poke coins, guys. 1.95 million poke coins sitting on Little Slayer's account. I'm like, this is just insane. So I want to hop in here. I want to open up a lot of those chests, get building up some of these heroes, really prioritizing some of the ones that we need. And I kind of was going through kind of the checklist of heroes, because thinking of the awakened variation, first of all, we want to build Envy, which we have. Then we want to build the awakened version of Shimiro, which again, we do have. And then looking at the awakened version of Athalia, which we do have. So check, check, check. All three of those absolutely have those built in the entirety. Then after that, we're going to go in and we're going to build out the awakened version of Astrilda, which, as you can see, we do not have built. We do not have unlocked right now. And there is, 2 million poke coins master. It is insane. So we're going to build out Astrilda. And then I was kind of, again, going through the checklist again, looking at the heroes, thinking of the priority of getting Liberta, getting Demia, getting Aurelia, which then I stopped right there because right there is Aurelia. Then thinking about getting Knox, again, kind of stopped right there. So we don't have Knox. There are a lot of heroes that are just going to absolutely slingshot this account into really the next stratosphere, thinking about progression, being on, chapter 46, getting all of those primary meta heroes that are built within AFK Arena, and also going to the point of, look at the resources, guys. Thinking of the Elder Tree, and I looked at, and I know Van Gogh, we hopped over and looked. Guys, there's 175,000 Twisted Essence. Now, the Elder Tree is not built up past level 40. This is going to be a game changer for this account in every aspect, because if you're going through and you're building out all those really strong, really big meta heroes, then you combine the summons on there with all of the other heroes, started going through and really focusing on what we're looking at in the Noble Tavern and looking what heroes we're missing. So priority out of here, absolutely looking at, the 3 or 4 that we have in here. Really good. We don't need to build Raul out of there. Maulers, I would definitely drop Goran in here. And thinking about this, I would drop out Salakai for Goran. Goran, we know, is a massive hero in a lot of different game modes. Already have Tiny Tank in there, which again, we could build out a little bit further. Wilders, we need Misha. Now this is a huge, huge, huge part. Even looking at the lineup right here, we're seeing most of these, again, based on having 1,600 common scrolls. Didn't build a lot of Wilders out of here. And even now, looking at the lineup in here, I would drop out Orin. I would drop in Misha. Misha is going to be a priority. Then when it comes to Greyborns, the exact same. Even looking here, Kayleen, not really a big priority in a lot of different game modes. I want to see if there's anyone else that's really needs to be built within here. Because I know Ivan, we can build up Ivan to 5 stars. And then again, thinking of Kayleen, Fane, again, another hero not really used a lot of places. And even when we get down here, Desira used a couple different places. But I want to see what's going on, Brendan. Yeah, I want to see what's going on with the wish list itself. So let's pop open the chest. Now, we do this kind of systematically, because if we go through and we do the summons and we pull some of our awakened heroes that we're looking for, some of the Celestials and the Hypos, it's going to make a big difference when we go in here. So I'm going to pop in here, going to do give to us 20 heroes signature priority. Absolutely, guys. We can go through some of the meta heroes. Let me just click some of these and I'm going to pop them open because we want to use this for levels. Now, where we're at in here, you're capped on everything in here, including the diamonds. I want to make sure we do the diamonds. We're going to save, of course, all of those chests, but this one's going to be really easy because you're just based on what we need to level up. And this is going to build up everything that we have within AFK Arena. I mean, looking at the sheer quantity that we have right here, this is over 1 million essence. It is crazy. There is well over, I mean, we're at almost 1.1 million essence. That is so many levels to gain in here to make progression. Even looking at diamonds, guys, that's what, 28,000 diamonds that we're getting out of here. Got a ton of gold. Right there's another 28K. So that is like hitting the jackpot for the 30,000 diamonds out of there. We get some more Stargazer scrolls. We get a lot of additional items in there. And again, we're going to pop open the rest of these diamonds. And I'm going to pick some of these randomized chests because again, if you're sitting on all of these chests, you are hurting progression within your account itself. I'm just kind of looking at the design, looking at the build of getting these and batching these, making sure again that we're opening these on a regular basis. This is going to be account progression. Looking at getting gold, looking at getting EXP, even there's another 30,000 and the regular chest. That is another 40,000 diamonds out of here. Now looking at the baits, looking at the beast, baits are going to be the priority. Thinking right now we have the option of not only building up the beast resonance to 18, but we also have the ability to take some of these baits, transfer the baits into that awakened hero or that awakened beast that we know is going to make a really big difference. Reward chests, you can do one of two in here. Now we know primordial, amplifying, and poke coins. We get those every single day when it comes to building these out with our diamonds, or excuse me, with your gold within the shop. I'm going to go ahead with this one. I'm going to pick up red chest, making sure we have all of these heroes up to that plus 30 signature item. Same in here. You could get cores, you could do red chests, you could do baits. Depends really where you are within AFK Arena, where you want to build this up. And we're just kind of doing this a little bit randomly just because we know all three of the things that we need in here, even temporal rift chest. Again, red, getting the red cores, getting the red chest, getting the poke, or getting the baits are the absolute priority. We'll go ahead and pull some baits out of this one. For me personally, I go through and I do and build up all of my beasts first. You know what? Let's go through this. I want to see where the baits are, or excuse me, where the beasts are, because I don't believe the beast ground was at 18. And here, boom, looking at the resonance level, see, we're at 9s and 10s. This means that when you look at a lot of the beasts within AFK Arena, they are the 6th member of a team. They are an absolute game changer in here. So I'm going to pull a lot of baits out of here so we can actually build that up a little bit further. Wanted to make sure before we start, again, kind of just popping a ton of these chests open, that we need exactly what we are kind of looking at and what we are prioritizing within here. Don't want to do the tier stones. We'll do a couple in here, and I think these are all essence. This is insane, guys. 44 temporal rift chests. Boom. That is 2,200 baits. Even here, looking at the lineup, I would go red chests. Just for the simple fact that is going to be another 100 red chests out of there. And here we have cores. Let's go ahead and get some cores out of here. Red chest and cores. Now, of course, poke coins, all 4 of these we can get for free. So honestly, thinking of 2 million poke coins, I'm going to go poke coins just for the simple fact shards you can get every day and everything else you can get. We are going to need those poke coins in the entirety. Maybe need to prioritize bait more. That's what I was thinking. As soon as I seen that, I was like, yeah, let me check because I feel like baits are going to have to be a little bit more of the priority. And in here again, we're going to go all red chests. That's going to yield us another 300 red chests. And here again, every day, I'm going to go with poke coins. Just because shards, I know we have a ton of shards in here. Red chest and cores, we could even do 1 and 1 between both of these. If we see some more baits, I'm definitely going to pick them up. A couple more red chests. Boom, boom, boom. Again, we can go 5 and 6 in here. This is going to give us all the resources, or hopefully all the resources. Now, these we're going to do essence. If you're familiar, guys, essence are where all of the players are going to get stuck. In here, I think this is going to be crazy because that's 400 more scrolls. Poke coins out of here. Again, primordial, you're not going to need, or the amplifying emblems, you're not going to need a ton of those. Poke coins, you will absolutely need forever. 700 reward chests, guys. 700. 694 to be exact, but look at this. You talk about some crazy essence. You talk about some crazy levels in here. This is going to do it. Then I want to go through, I want to use the stones. We're going to be cleaning up this account for literally days. I mean, look at the essence in here. Boom. That is another 100,000 essence, bringing us over 4 million, or no, 463. Yeah, 4.6 million essence. Guys, when you say for 3 years, right there, Van Gogh was talking 3 years of my life, even 21 of our bizarre totems, that's insane. That is insane. Rest of these chests, again, I'm going to focus on them in a little bit. Let's pop open our heroes. Let's unlock all of these. Now, Hildwyn, we do have 5 copies of Hildwyn. Now, remember, Highborn Draconic Heroes, we need 3 copies to actually level them up a little bit further. So there are 5 copies of Hildwyn. Want to open all of these up because we do get a copy there of Eugene. And then looking down here, we have Shahan, we have Sun Jin Woo, both of those being unlocked in their entirety. And that is going to be the first unlock. Sun Jin Woo has really made a big, big impact within AFK Arena, building him out, getting him that plus 40 signature item, amplifying that 60% damage that he possesses, really does make a big difference. Now, as far as our stones, we have 63 elite stones in here. That's crazy. That is almost maxed. I believe 66 is the max. Fingers crossed, Celestials and Hypos out of here. Let's see what we pull. So there is Misha. Now, guys, Misha is in that very, very top SSS tier priority. Absolutely a top tier hero to build. So we do have, let's see who we have. So there is Misha. Did we get 2 copies of Misha? Did we really get no Celestials or Hypos? No way, guys. Out of 63 coins, or 63 stones, there is Telemar, there is Misha. Yeah, we got 0. None, not even one. That makes me wonder, guys, because right here, this is capped at 66. We need some Awakened Heroes in here. Celestials, Hypos, Awakened Heroes. 66 pulls. Boom. Who do we get? Of course, not enough to open. I feel like this is going to be a stopping point for some of this. And you can see there's a lot of heroes built out here, guys. This is kind of crazy. Hero tier bundle. There's another one. Yeah, getting all of these heroes up. And I'm almost wondering, we might have to clean a lot of these heroes up in the summons. Because I'm thinking even getting into the summons, how much room we're going to have in here. I neglected the beast so bad. The beasts, honestly, the beasts are a really, really big game changer within AFK Arena. Just for the simple fact, when you start looking at a lot of those best in slot priorities, having the beast built up, and a lot of beasts, you know, work at 12, work at 15, ultimately work much higher, getting them to 18. It does make a big, big difference on where you're building those out, where you do get them built out. What's going on? Is it Ali or Olip? Any tips on Beast Resonance? Is it worth upgrading the Nightfall Pegasus? Not really. What level do we think we're going to get to? I don't know, Master, because we have I feel like we're going to be level capped with what we're trying to build out here, what we have with all of these copies. I feel like the account is going to be level capped in its entirety. I want to see, because right now we're on 597. That is a far, far, far cry of where this account should be built at. Again, I want to clean up some of these copies before we get into the summons and see what we got in the mailbox. I am hoping, fingers crossed, we got some Celestials and Hypos, or we did get some copies of those Awakened Heroes. And you'll notice he built a lot of Legendary Pluses. Now, I know we're going to get a lot more heroes, a lot more food, a lot more bait, but you can see there are a ton of Legendary Pluses. There is a ton of food on this account. So to build all these to Legendary Plus really doesn't make a big difference, or isn't really needed, just for the simple fact that, again, we could go through here and he's probably going to have to spend a crazy amount of time actually cleaning all of this up. Because we have the copies of the heroes, we have all of the ability to get them to Ascended. And I can't even imagine how many heroes we're going to add to that Ascension level to actually build them up, and we're going to add to the Oak Inn as far as the additional copies. And again, a lot of copies just kind of sitting here. Let's see what we got over here in the mailbox. Yeah, the first 3 years and the next 3 was your saving. So he spent 3 years playing, then he spent 3 years saving. Look at this, guys. All right, so we got the Awakened version of Thane, the Awakened version of Baden. So we got 2 copies out of there. What else do we have down here? That's 2 Awakened heroes. Can we get some more? There is Randall. There is Aethys. So some pretty good pulls. We have Adrian and Elise. Got a couple more Graveborns down there. Come on, where's 1 or 2 more? Celestials or Hypos? Oh, I see right there. There's Meatball. So we got some more resources out of there. All right, so I know we got a couple right down here. So we got Frampton. We got another copy of Aethys in there. And look at all these stones. I believe this is out of the mail because we collected all the mail for what we just used. And I'm not seeing the rest of them in there. I think we're capped again on collecting these heroes. Yeah, so we're going to have to level some of these up again. There's a lot to clean up. There's a lot, because if you're spending, I mean, years cleaning up, even looking here, Warwick goes to 5 stars, so he is done. We're going to have to get into the summons. We're going to have to combine a lot of heroes. We're going to have to work through all of this. Yeah, Van Gogh, I mean, there's a lot. There is a lot to really unpack here as far as getting all of these heroes ready, getting the 1 stars, getting the engraving, and building kind of everything else, because I think every single faction, we are going to have more copies. And the furniture, I am shocked. You spent 3 years of not adding furniture to any of your heroes, getting that 2 million Pocoin in there. That is pretty impressive. That is very impressive. All right, so let's see the stones, because I know we got a lot more stones in here. Let's go ahead and pop these open as well. Not going to use the max stones. Again, we're going to kind of save those. We have 3 more here. Boom, we got a copy of Orthos. Orthos, of course, still being used in that Orthos cheese. And then we have the Elite Stones. I'm going to save those too, because again, you can go ahead, and I believe these are the ones that you have a chance of getting. Zolrath, I'm not worried about. Genius, I'm not really worried about either. And then we have all those chests. Yeah, this is going to take a lot of time, Master. I feel like this is going to be well over the time that we're kind of looking at here. 52,000 baits. I need Superb Stones to be removed from the game. Yeah, Superb Stones, I feel like Finn are the exact same. Guys, we have 52,000 baits. You talk about having the ability to build some of these out in the entirety. That is absolutely insane, having that many baits. And we're north of 200,000. Even there is the unlock for the Awakened version of Thane. I love Thane when he came out, guys. He was such a cool hero when he was released in AFK Arena. And then we also do have Baden in there. Again, a lot of other heroes. I'm wondering summon-wise. Yeah, we're already full on summons. Yeah, this is going to be tough, Soul. This is going to be tough. Just for the simple fact, there we go. There's a couple more. We are going to have to probably buy more slots. I'm thinking, because even looking at our regular summons, got the wish list set in here. Yeah, what 3 beasts will you go for? I don't know. I like being able to leave the Slumbering Seal in there. And there we go. There is a copy of Mira. We have a Strilda in there. Guys, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What do you think? We're going to have to buy some slots in here. We're going to have to spend some of these diamonds. And I wish you could buy more than 1. Let's take it up to 7. And I know I had to do this on most of the accounts that we did these summons on, just for the simple fact, guys, that there is no room to do the summons. Again, we're going to have to clean up a lot. We're going to have to clean up a lot. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Soul. I'm like, yes, buy a lot of space with gems. And again, I don't like it only does it 1 by 1. We're going to have to add some slots in here. Let's take it to 8. Then we can start recycling. Then we can start putting some of these heroes together, because even regular summons, guys, it's going to cap pretty quick. And we're going to have to make sure that we're not overbuilding some of these heroes up from the 5 stars. And I wish I could just pick where I want to build this to. I don't think there's a faster way. Max slots are bought. There we go. So we can't buy any more. Ice Goat, Seal. Yeah, I love all 3 of those for the tower. But Seal damage feels weak. It does when you get a certain point, Finn. When you start leveling much higher, yes, the Seal doesn't have quite the impact. All right, guys. 1900 scrolls. Let's start the summoning party in here since we got a lot of this cleaned up. We know this is going to be a lot. There is Mira again. Now, Mira in the Greyborn Tower, Mira in the Cheese Formation works incredibly well. Adrian and Elise, another Light Bearer, again, requires a higher signature item, but does work incredibly well. SI-40 for Marcial is my biggest regret. Got kicked out of Nightmare Quarter. There is Tamaris. Where is the Celestials and the Hypos in here? This is a crazy amount, guys. 2,000 scrolls. And honestly, looking at the diamonds we have in here, there's Alvida. I'm going to use the diamonds for Stargazer. There's Ivan, just for the simple fact we know that a lot of the heroes that copies of Aurelia, copies of Knox, are going to be a much, much bigger priority than we're seeing here on the regular heroes. And there's Garok. Guys, I love this hero. I would say he's even competing for my best in slot love with Rowan. I am loving Garok in there. It is awesome. Best Awaken to get is one copy of Matria. Yeah, carry a Treasure Scramble team. Yeah, Matria. One copy of Matria. Yeah, she's such a hard hero to kill. Come on, where's the Awaken? That's what we're looking for in here, guys. Once we cap, we'll go ahead and build up a couple more of these. And again, we don't want to take them past that 5 stars. We want to make sure that we're building them up exactly to where we need to, because 5 stars, even thinking of the regular factions, there's Rendell. There's only probably, I would say 20, 25, maybe even 30. And there we go. So we got the Awakened version of Estrilda. That is the one we're going to be building, guys. Again, thinking of the priority that we have, this is the one we want to build up, is going to be Estrilda. And then we do have another copy of Ivan. That is awesome. Yeah, that is really, really good. So that was our first Awaken. So we got one. I like to keep track of the Awakened heroes that we pull out of here. And that was the exact one that we were looking for. Look at the resources, the resource generation out of here, guys. And look at this. All of those copies we're going to be able to max out. I'm going to have to go through and max these guys out. I mean, that's a lot of stars. That is a lot of engraving. Should Awakened Athalia be built before Estrilda? We already have a yes. The Awakened version of Athalia I would build out, and I do recommend. I believe Finn is kind of saying no, don't build it out. But yes, I do like the Awakened version of Athalia. I even use her today, and I know right now she's still best in slot. She's still in meta formations for a lot of the teams. I like her build. I love how she works. I like using her. I do recommend her. Now in this count, we have Envy, we have Shamira, and we have that Awakened version of Athalia already built out. So all 3 of those these are already built out. So going in and doing Estrilda now would make a big difference. Yeah, Athalia needs max investment, which I know on here, again, we don't have furniture, which is going to be a big one that we can do out of here. But I want to build up Garok. I want to get some more copies in here, finishing out the original version, OG Baden, which again is still kind of being used if you have those cheese formations. But knowing that Randy getting that buff with the Ascended and adding those stars, unlocking more stuff because they're already engraved, does make a big difference. Bane's one that was used very short-lived in PvP, but still, again, the effectiveness, I might have to build up a couple more of these. There's Meatball. If you've ever known, guys, Mezoth was a monster to deal with such a long time ago. There we go. We got Legendary. We have all of our Dims. Then, of course, we are building out a couple more of our Draconic heroes. Back to the summon. So we got one. All right, 1,700 scrolls, guys. Can we pull some more Awakens? Celestials and Hypos would be ideal as well. But it's honestly been a considerable amount of time since we've had some of these heroes. Most of the summons I do, we do not get any Awakened heroes at all. Even when we do summon a significant amount. But there is Garok again. That is number 2. That gives us 2 copies of him. And again, he's starting to see a lot of meta formations. Starting to see a lot more utility. 270, you got the first Awaken. Yeah, very nice. Master free to play. Yeah, free to play It is free to play, guys. There's Estrilda, there's Anasta. And again, some of these we might have to build out just a little bit further. You'll pull them. Yeah, there's another copy of Jerome. Now, Jerome's another one. A lot of utility with in the hero, even though being a warrior. Boom! Number 2. That is 2, guys. There is the awakened version of Sophia. So that is another unlock we get right there. Sophia, unfortunately, not seeing a crazy amount of utility anymore. Was best in slot for a while. Now, slowly coming down the tier list, not seeing as much. And Telmar is another one, best in slot. Best in slot in there with Telmar, best in slot with Garok. 2 absolute new heroes that are within AFK Arena that do require a slot within wishlist. Honestly, day 1, both of them have been really, really solid. Even thinking Alvida. Alvida's been really good for the Light Bearers. We've seen some pretty decent builds out of most of those. Yeah, I love Telmar. Telmar is one that I'm super impressed by. Little questionable when she first came out, but then we started seeing the build, then we started seeing the utility in there. But unfortunately, we haven't seen it as much. When is the new Awaken? Michael Tuesday. There is Saramina. So Saramina is one really best in slot within the Nightmare Corridor. The burst damage that we see with her does do incredibly, incredibly well. Does require a little bit of a bigger build out. Rip, no Matria, Awaken Belinda, best 1 copy Awaken. We have Belinda on here too, Finn. Yes, low-key instant regret. Doesn't feel like that much important. Yeah, Matria and Belinda, best 1 copy hero out there. Like I said, we already have Belinda on here for 1 copy. I don't know if we have Matria. That's a good question. We can actually check and we can start, as we continue to build these out to the 5 stars, we can actually, again, swap some of these out because I feel like some of these are only going to be used, even looking at a lot of light bearers that are at 3 stars, 4 stars. Most of these are only going to be used in tower formations. There's not going to be a crazy amount of point for a lot of these, but I think like Alvida, I don't think we have Alvida built. This is another one that we're just going to grab some food because these are heroes where we are going to need more copies of these heroes and we're going to need to build them up much, much further and use a lot of this food we have down here. And again, these are some of the heroes that are the bigger priorities within AFK Arena. So we're going to need more copies of Alvida. Even looking, guys, we got Rigby and Falks out there. Infinity Summon in real life. Low key, I regret building her. What's going on, Alfredus? Thanks for joining us for the stream. Yeah, so even I was looking at Adrian and Elise. This is another one where we are going to have to build Adrian and Elise out. I know, again, it showed we did not have an unlock on some of these, but really these are going to be the big, big game-changing heroes when you're building them out, building them up a little bit more food. And guys, remember, we have capped bluestones in here. We have all of these, and we have an insane amount of summons. So being able to use some of these copies of heroes for food and everything else is just going to take a little bit of time. Lightbearer Tower, Alvida Seal, doesn't do enough damage to kill to Alvida's Unicorn. Oh, to Alvida's Unicorn. Yeah, again, it depends what you're fighting, what game mode you're in. Even here, boom, Adrian Elise, because I think we have enough for Ascended on here with the food. So there's signature items. We're probably going to need about 20,000. I'm thinking 20,000 plus red chest to build all of these up, not including who you're taking to a 40. But there is Ascended. Now in here, the exact same. We want to build up Telmar. And I don't want to miss any of these high priorities. And again, we built everything to our Legendary Plus level. I don't know how long that's been kind of sitting there, but we'll build out some of these. Gorok, yes. Like I was saying, Brendan, I am loving Gorok. I'm loving how he works, the build on him. Getting him built up and really maximizing that hero has been a game changer in a lot of different game modes. I'm doing incredibly well with Gorok. He's one I'm really impressed with. Off the bat, he was another one. Again, when we first got him, kind of questionable where he's going to be used, if he's going to be used. but he is. So how's the Golden Frontier? On the free-to-play account, Sim, I'm not doing very well in the Golden Frontier. On the YouTube account, 100% absolutely crushing it. So we went in there and we started the Golden Frontier as a guild, grouped up with another guild and put a bunch of us together. And from there, guys, it's been kind of game on with the Golden Frontier because, of course, we have really, really big whales that are playing in there with us within the guild itself. And we have just been crushing it. Again, the free-to-play account, last time we crushed it on the free-to-play account. The other one, not so good at all with the YouTube account. It was really a struggle. And they've penalized players for changing a lot more than we've ever done in the past with the Golden Frontier. So if you're looking to switch your league where you have in there, you got to do it a lot earlier. And you really do have to do it. If anyone loses in the Golden Frontier, it's time to search for a better guild. Yep, and that's it. And that's where, Finn, it really does make a big, big difference on kind of where you're at or what you walk into within the Golden Frontier. It really does. So we've gotten 2 Awakened Heroes so far, hoping we can pick up a couple more. Now, of course, a lot of players also wonder why we do the summons, like scroll summons first. That's a perfect combination. The reason being, we're hoping to get some copies of those Awakened Heroes, Celestials, Hippos, going through these first, the stones first, to kind of know, engage with the RNG aspect exactly who we have built. There is another copy of Lava Tune. That is awesome to see. That wasn't an unlock on there. But knowing again where exactly these heroes are being used or how we're getting and how many copies we're getting as we continue to go through here, 1,300 scrolls. We're about 700 down already, which is awesome. Makes no sense to me. People hate Golden Frontier and ignore Cursed Realm. Cursed Realm pays me 0 rewards. Golden Frontier is a super, super, super gold mine for resources, especially because they added the Spire in there, Finn. I love the Spire. Every single floor, you are giving me loot all day long, guys. The Spire in there is crazy with the amount of loot that you do get out of there. All right, come on. We've gotten 2. I want to see at least 1 or 2 more in here with our Awakened Heroes, at least, before we get into building these up a little bit further. All right, got another Elite, which is another copy of Aethys. And I don't know if we have Aethys built out. I don't know if we have Misha built out. I believe the unlock was the ones that we had. Elvita, we're getting a lot of copies too as well, which is good. That is going to be awesome. I just hate that you have to manually do the fight and wait. Yes, the 100 minutes to recharge, it's kind of crazy. And again, that's something, Sim, they might change next time. There's another copy of Trichia and a copy of Guineas. Now remember, every time that we have done the Golden Frontier, they've made a lot of changes. And I'm pretty happy with the changes that we've gotten out this time, which is really cool to see. So there is Ivan again. I believe Ivan was already at 4 stars. I think we were pretty close to maxing out Ivan on the entirety. And he'll be completely done. How long to save? So ZZ, this was 3 years. This was 3 years in the entirety to save for this on a free-to-play account. 3 years of not spending anything. 3 years of no progression really at all, because we've been saving. We've been saving for, again, on this account is a crazy amount of time, guys. It's been a long time. There's Talmar. Since we've actually done a viewer summon. I mean, last time I think we did Mickey's accounts. If I remember correctly, I think it was Mickey's accounts that we did for the summons last time. There we go. That is a lot more copies. We got some Lava Tune copies. Yeah, we're going to have to build up a lot of this food. There are a lot of Elite Pluses, guys. This is a crazy, crazy amount of food. Yeah, 3 years, a Panda, of not spending anything it's insane. It is really insane. I mean, when you start going through here and just seeing even how much food we have in here, it is crazy how long to save all of this to build up everything in here. And I know Guineas, we have a couple more copies of Guineas as well. I feel like food, we could spend days making more food in here, combining just these little Legendary Plus heroes. Wish there was a way to auto do it. That's a good idea. I'm going to submit it to the devs. Being able to just auto, if we have like the legendary heroes, again, kind of the auto complete or the auto combine, I think would be awesome to see. It'd be very cool. Still think Curse Realm needs to be removed from the game. I think the rewards, I think I got rewards worth 100 diamonds a week. Oh, for the Curse Realm? Curse Realm, I do like the Curse Realm. Again, it's a lot of different game modes are very, very different. That's one thing that I really do like about the variety of going in there. Curse Realm, I do pretty well. I mean, I'm usually in the top 10 for Curse Realm, even though I really don't try. But it does give some rewards. It gives you some decent rewards out of there. All right, so there we go. There is Ascended again. Now in here, again, I didn't think we had any copies of Misha. We wanted to build up Misha. This is going to be another one. We didn't have Misha built out. We did not have, I don't think we had Garok built out, but there is a little bit of food. Boom. 10-hour recharge and 6 fights. Yeah, I don't know why. And again, I think it really benefits Sim, the players that are putting money into the game. I feel like that's where I noticed really quickly, if you could unlock team 3, team 4, team 5, team 6, depending on how much money you wanted to put in there, Sim, it made it a lot faster to go through there and a lot more progression, just for the fact that you have so many more teams to go in there and actually kind of crush it when you're going through there. What's going on, Lith? Welcome to the party. A little bit late, but you are okay. We are going through and we are building out some of these heroes in the entirety, getting these priorities. And I love Aethys, guys. You talk about a pure tank. That is just an absolute monster. Being able to take a crazy amount of damage. Aethys is it. Aethys is such a strong tank. I love his build, the crowd control, everything. Sound like you created your own problem just to complain. It's your choice to be in a way. Yeah, switch the leagues. I switch the leagues. It's random. Yes, Sim, you can switch the leagues. I did it, and we made a decision as a guild that we were switching leagues, and that's exactly what we did. Go out there. I hate that they made the Golden Frontier. Yeah, I feel like Duck, if they made it a lot less pay to win. I do not like the fact that, yes, it's kind of very almost impossible to compete if you're not buying stuff in there for the extra teams. I feel like they could have made parts of it pay to win, and they could have still kept it kind of true to kind of the free-to-play players, but they didn't with the extra teams. If they gave you access to the extra teams and it wasn't locked behind a paywall, I think that would have been the big thing. And again, I can see all of the other stuff, the couple different things in there that you could go in and get more rewards, get more treasure, stuff like that. But when you lock the teams behind it, you locked a lot of players out of it. And I know, yeah, paying for the game is, yeah, going to revenue generation to keep the game going. But I don't like it that, again, they put some things behind that pay to win aspect and some things are not. There's Lava Tune. All right, guys, back to the summons. Clean this up a little bit more. Don't understand the Golden Frontier. I do what I can in there. So the only two things, Lith, when it comes to Golden Frontier is you have to rally and you have to do the second thing where you go in with the bombs. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. The mobilization, I think it might be. But those are really the only two things. Going through and pushing through the Spire, of course, can yield you a lot more loot, and it's good for the guildies. But other than that, if you're not a leader within it itself, there's not a lot for you to do. So there we go, guys. Another double. Boom, we got Garok again. We are 1,000 scrolls down. 1,000 scrolls already, guys. And we pulled, what, 3? Was it 2 or 3? 2 or 3. There's a copy of Braun. Awakened heroes at this point. We've seen a couple Celestials, a couple Hippos. And I'm hoping we get a few more. There's Telmar. Again, those are big ones that we're looking to build. And I'm thinking we need 1 copy of Ivan. And that should finish it out. Honesta, got to be getting pretty close. Back to back, there's Ovida. Now, Ovida, again, is one that we've built up quite a bit. Boom, another copy of Honesta. Again, I feel like that's got to be getting pretty close because I think we already had her at Legendary. I'm going to have to check where some of these are already built at. Highly recommend pulling Matria, best PS hero of all time. Immune to power creep, gives all the you a team all rotation. Are you talking Matria, the Hypo Matria? I think that's the one that we're talking about, which we can pull a copy in there. There's a copy of Jerome. Yeah, we could pick up one more. The double right there, guys. There is Ivan. So let me check. Get all the resources out of there. Let me check because I thought maybe that would be Ivan. And I also want to check on Anasta and see where. No, that only takes him to 4. All right, so that's good. And we know I have Genius in here. We know we have Elvita in here. This is going to build it up just a little bit further. And we're going to take these to 5 stars, guys. When you look at Jerome, when you look at, a lot of these heroes, even looking at Adrian and Elise, even looking at Genius, Genius is very strong within a light bearer tower, not used a lot of other places. But then you look at Elvita. Elvita, now we're going to have access to a pretty powerful light bearer tank. Again, going to require a build out for a lot of these, but we have the copies that we need of them. Let me build up one more piece down here. Again, I feel like Anasta is going to be built up quite a bit in there. All right, so there we go. There's Savius. And I know a lot of players want Savius and a few other heroes to be an awakened version of Savius, which I think would be pretty cool. So there's 2 for Anasta, taking us to Ascended. And do we have any more? I thought we might, because that will actually take Anasta up to 3 stars already. This is the reason why I wanted to hop in here, and I did not want to overbuild them. I knew there were a few that in the wish list that we didn't have up to the point where we needed them to be. Now, Greyborn, again, we do have that other copy of Ivan. Almost done. So that is at the 4 stars. We're getting close, guys. Greyborn should have pushed Isabella to be awakened. Yeah, I'm still, as much as I like Falks, it was kind of an odd choice for it to go the awakened route that it did. And it almost makes me think, now, and there we go, there's a copy of Gorin, our unlock. But now they can use or kind of do whatever they want to, Finn. So when we thought, a Greyborn hero, is it going to be Falks? Is it going to be Isabella? Is it going to be, nope, it was a Lightbearer hero that we were looking at, or Pharrell, not Falks. Interesting to see because now, yeah, they can kind of change it or move it wherever. Main account is chapter 27, and my team gets one-shotted. I haven't played in a long time. The best unit is Damon and the big Haleen on Mythic. Anything I should focus on? If you're in 27, there's a couple like Garrison Rem is going to work incredibly early. Getting Randy, getting Ivan. If you haven't played for a long time, Randy and Ivan are 2 that are going to be game changers. Between those 3, you can carry a lot with both of them. And we've gotten a lot of copies of Braun. But yeah, those are, yeah, I don't know if you're in companions, but if not, focusing on a couple of probably 5 key heroes really will make a big difference. It'll make a huge, huge difference in your progression. Guys, we got 630 left. Misha, we are getting a lot of copies of Misha. That is one, again, big priority to build out Misha. There's a couple copies of Mira. I think Mira, we just got up to Ascended. And we're pulling Elite after Elite after Elite. This is crazy, guys. Mira is going to be done as well. We have so many heroes. Guys, we still have 8,000 companion points in here, and we're already 45 minutes in. Boom, there is Gorok again. And Tarnos, now he is still being used in a few different places, a kind of a niche hero with the ability. PvP, he was an absolute monster. Yes, it's time for an awakened hero. I want to see it. There is Lady Simona. Come on, guys, 500. Fingers crossed. We need another awakened. Hopefully it's going to be Astrilda. I would love to see Astrilda in there. That would be very, very cool to see. Come on. Where is that shiny golden glow? All right, another copy of Garok. He's getting a lot closer. Should be able to build him up a little bit higher. More copies of Randy. 450 left. We got to be almost capped out on here again. Yeah, this is going to be a lot. There's another copy of Honesta. Yeah, Rem for free, Shahan for free. Shahan's not going to be for a while till they come to the Garrison. We probably have a couple months for the Garrison on their Finn for Shahan if you don't have Shahan left. All right, let's auto ascend. Who do we got? Another copy of Tarnos. We got another copy of Honesta. And some more copies there of Adrian Elise. And again, food. Food for days. Still have all of those blue stones that we've seen. Honesta, very close as well to getting to 5 stars. And even here, guys, we're gonna have to level up a lot of these guys. Boom! There is our little bug, Grok. Let's get him some food. Know the priority with these. Grok, again, best in slot in a lot of different places. Falling right into that high tier right off the bat. Just utility-wise, works incredibly well. Does, again, require a little bit of a build-out, but does work very, very well. Yeah, how long's a long time? Are we talking like a year or two, or you're talking like 3 years? Because that'll really make a big difference coming back to AFK Arena, depending how long. And honestly, first thing do, wish list, set your wish list, and then really just go from there. It is kind of game on from that point of getting the wish list built out and getting all of that in its entirety. There's some more copies of Mira. There's our engraving. And of course, we got one more copy, or we got Elite Plus of Tarnos, which is good. All right, guys, back to the tavern. Talking like 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Update the wish list. Start with your summons, and you'll be able to really Rem and Ivan, or excuse me, yeah, Rem, Ivan, and then looking at getting Randy. Those are the really, really big ones that are going to be the game changer, that are going to be the big power creep heroes in there. Getting Rem. I mean, Rem will carry a lot, even making progression in tower formation, stuff like that, which is good. If you don't score top 5100 treasure scramble, your account's not worth for the return. Better to start a new account. Yeah, that's honestly, if you start a new account, wouldn't be super difficult. Plus, you'd be on a newer server, might be a lot more. Not gonna lie, I'm in jealousy. Jealous right now, guys. There's a lot. I mean, we're like 1,700 scrolls into the summons, over 3 years of saving in here. It's crazy. Villanelle is another one. We're going to have to see exactly where we're at and where we're built with Villanelle, and seeing where we're going to use these faction scrolls. Again, faction scrolls, we can kind of fine tune a lot of these with the build in there. There's another copy of Jerome. Come on, where's the Awakened Hero, guys? It's got to be close. Boom, double right there. We got Aethys, we got Guineas again. 200 left in here. And again, these rare heroes, kind of crazy. There's Randy again. Randy's almost to 5 stars. Ivan's almost to 5 stars. And Trishia, I don't know if we built out. I think we're going to have to do it. 160 left. We got to pull one more. Come on. Where is the one more? There is Trishia and Tamaris again. Then we're going to move to companion points. 8,000 companion points in here, which is kind of crazy. If you want to pay like 1,000 per month, what am I buying? What makes sense? Honestly, if you're looking to put money in here, number one, I would do Fun in the Wild. Fun in the Wild with Rowan, of course, going to be a crazy, crazy return for diamonds wise. I like the monthly cards. I like the Noble Societies. Both of them are really big game changer because the accumulation that you get in there is just really exponential. If you're putting 100 a month in there, really getting those monthly cards are what I think $20 in total. And then even if you get 2 of the Noble Society, that's another $50. So you're at 70, saving you 30. Fun in the Wild if it's up. If not, going in there and picking out a couple different ones in there, you can really make the most of it with being able to generate resources a lot faster. And unfortunately, guys, we did not get any more out of there. 2 scrolls left in the entirety. We're maximum tier. Do I start normal or companions? Do normal. Normal. The companions is a light version of AFK Arena. I would not start in companions. Um, it gets old really quick. I really, you should only buy bundles in the Golden Frontier. I mean, you can while they're up right now, but of course the Golden Frontier bundles are going to be gone. Um, yeah, basically dragon cards, time cards, Stargazer scrolls. Yeah, if you're looking to go that route, you can buy some of the packs, but you might buy and you might get quite a bit of the heroes, and then you don't have the ability to build them. So it's going to be kind of a catch-22 in there if you're purchasing stuff. And I know Finn and Lith both are some very, very nice dolphin whales that offer a lot of insight in there. Yeah, a lot of the event packages help. Just got to make sure that the value is there for those event packages. So there we go. So we got the engraving on a lot of these heroes. Honesta is done, so that is 5 stars. We can swap Honesta out. Again, a couple of these we got to Mythic Plus, just need more copies, which again, we're going to save some of the resources, even looking at Talmar and a few other ones. Absolutely going to be able to build these out quite a bit higher, adding more stars onto Aethys, getting that engraving, and then also building out Misha with a couple more copies. Again, faction scrolls, I'm going to save because we can go through and we can kind of build them out a little bit. Tamarisk will go to 2 stars. Even looking Iran, we'll be able to build up a little bit further. Yeah, so let's see. Noble Tavern, again, we have a few that we can swap out. Honesta kind of swapped out here. We can put Naruko in here. Again, thinking of the impact that they're going to make within a bunch of different game modes. Works out well. Let's get into the companion points in here, guys. I would just do the newest. Yeah, I would go in there and I would make sure that you just do the newest server on there. That way you have kind of the newer players. All right, guys. 8,400. This could yield us some awakened heroes as well. So let's go ahead and knock out the summons. Still looking for all of those heroes on the wish list. Boom, there's a copy of Telmar. Definitely want to pull and build her up, getting that engraving on there. Same with Garok. A lot more food out of there. Still like level 1,000. If you play free to play, you make good progression. You can if you do it every day. I mean, I know players that are free to play that do incredibly well in there. Yeah, and that's the big thing. So like Finn said, everything is obtainable for free to play. That is the big difference where a lot of players ask, is AFK Arena free to play friendly in comparison to a lot of other games? The answer to that is 100%. AFK Arena is very free to play friendly because you can obtain everything in AFK Arena as a free to play player. Again, I played Idle Heroes. I played a lot of different games through the years, and there are games that literally have pieces that are 100% that are pay to win because items are 100% locked behind a paywall, period. You have no option. You have no ability. If you do not put money into the game, you will never get and maximize everything within the game because there are things that are locked behind the payroll. Buying resources is a waste of money. It depends if you want to build the heroes. And again, it really does make a big difference because if you put all of your money into getting the heroes and you can never go in there and max out or build any of the heroes, you got to have kind of a happy medium behind that or between there, because it's either going to have the heroes. Again, if you're pretty limited to what you're putting in there, you won't be able to build the heroes out with the resources, or you'll always be 1, 2, 3, 4 heroes behind because you don't have the resources. I just played another game for a while. Spending was way worse than here. Didn't get as much stuff. Yeah, it's crazy with some of those Lith. I've seen some insane games. And again, I've seen a lot that have stuff that are literally 100% locked behind a paywall in the entirety, which is tough. Now, of course, we talk about when you're free to play, when you're pay to win, whether you're a whale, you really have to set the expectation. So there's another copy of Tamarisk, meaning that if you're going in here and you're building out heroes, and if you're free to play, you're not going to be the top, 100 within the Cursed Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, the Treasure Scramble. Chances are you're not going to be in the top 100 if you are a free to play player. Again, it's very, very unlikely, very difficult if you're competing against pay to win players, versus free-to-play players in there. I will start today and we'll look for some beginner guides. So Yannick, if you go to the guide section of my YouTube channel, I actually have 2 different beginner guides in there. If you're a little bit more experienced with the guide, you can start with the Sun Jin Woo and the Shahan one. If you're very, very new to AFK Arena, as in never played, I have a guide out there that literally starts from ground zero, which is very cool. There we go. So we have Aethys. We have more copies of Gorin. We're almost halfway through with the companion points in here, guys. That is pushing a lot of points. Haven't seen any Awakened Heroes. And again, this is what I'm seeing on a lot of my other accounts, is pulling the Awakened Heroes seems to be a lot less likely, and we're not seeing them as often as we really have in the past. Well, what's going on, Jordan? There we go. So we are full again. Let's go ahead and recycle all of these ones we got. And we really didn't get many elites. I mean, 1, 2, 3. Most of this was all food. Look at all of those elites, all of those elite pluses. Again, food-wise, we're going to be able to build and really fine-tune everything else we have in here, which is going to be awesome. So 3,700. Then we're going to hop into the Temple of Time. That is where we're headed next, guys. So another 3,500 companions. Then we'll hop over. We'll do the Temple of Time. And again, I'm going to save those faction scrolls because we want to fine-tune exactly who we want to build, and to what level we want to build them. It is kind of that fine-tuned piece based on the food we have in here. It's going to make a big difference. Really want to see the beast pulls. Yeah, it's going to be kind of crazy. Guaranteed resonance 18-0, excitement to look forward to. Should be pretty close with 22,000 in there. All right, 2,600. We got a double again. Haven't seen even any 4s. There's Vika and there's Alvida. Alvida's getting a lot closer. I believe we already have her at, that might put her at 2 stars right there. Diamonds we're saving for the Stargazer, and of course, the Awakened Heroes. Now, question is, do we wait for Falks? Do you think they'll ever have heroes go above 5? So we talked about that, Lith. So, and we talked about it with the devs about if you know, and if you ever played Lith over on the companion server, the heroes go above 5 stars. They actually have an ascension level that is above those 5 stars. That is something when companions came out that they were toying around with the possibility or the probability of doing that Lith. And they deemed at that point it would not be worth it because of all of the heroes. Because remember, over on companions, you have to have, and I believe it is 8 additional copies of the heroes to get them to up to that ascension level on companions. So it takes a lot more copies. Well, players that have spent years and years of years recycling those additional copies wouldn't have the ability, or wouldn't have the ability to transcend those heroes, because they've already retired all of those copies. So they might go to a point where if you have a certain number of heroes at 5 stars, it could go to a transcended level, is what, again, they were kind of toying around with. Don't know if that's ever going to come around, meaning that, let's say, for instance, we have 20 Graveborn heroes, we have 10 Graveborn heroes that are at 5 stars. That might take all Graveborn heroes to like a 6 star. And again, that's kind of an interesting way to see it, or an interesting way to do it. But that is something, Lith, yes, that we talked about. And again, guys, if you guys remember way back when we beta tested companions through all of it, and that was something that they kind of toyed around with or talked about, because they brought it to companions. And most of the stuff they brought to companions, they have brought over here to AFK Arena. Again, that is something that they talked about, but I don't think they ever have. I've saved a ton of copies. Certain ones I'll save. Yeah, and that's it. And that's what they were talking about, was so many players have retired so many different copies of heroes. How would they make it fair? I guess, how would you really make that fair? It's a good question. All I want is a dimensional tower. Yeah. So here, we're going to go in and we're going to look at the awakened version of Astrilda. Again, we have Baden built out in here. We have Athalia built out. Brutus is pretty well built. We have Solus built out. Again, the older ones. Leica built out a little bit. So question, do we finish out Leica? Because we have Leica and we have Brutus, do we finish those out? Do we go right in here? And again, my thought is the awakened version of Astrilda that we look at, but even thinking bigger picture, Skarath is being used quite a few places. Awaken Astrilda is being used quite a few places. What's going on, Kookie? When's the next live stream on the finance channel? Tuesday. I know, and that's what I was thinking about Brutus. Other than the tower, awakened version of Leica. What do you think about Leica, Finn? What do you think, Little Slayer? I don't know if Little Slayer's still on. I haven't seen any chat in a little bit, but I do like Astrilda. And again, looking at tier list, looking at a couple different things. This one is looking good, but yeah, Tuesday I want to go in there. Awaken Thorin and Awaken Astrilda for Treasure Scramble. Astrilda, Leica, and then the others, just no Brutus. Van Gogh, yep, Van Gogh is still here. What do you think, Van Gogh? I am thinking Astrilda and Leica. Eron is great, Thorin is great, Astrilda is great. Astrilda needs a max investment. We have more resources, Finn. We have resources to probably build out probably 8 to 10 heroes with a max investment. One copy of Zora. One copy of Thorin, Zora, and Matria does a lot. Well, what do we have here? Let me see, because I know one copy of Thorin. We have Thorin. Do we have Thorin? Let me look. And the easiest way to do this is if we go in here. So if we get a copy of Thorin, the awakened version of Thorin, he's already unlocked. So we do have Thorin in here. Who are you looking at? And look at that. It's been incredible and inspiring. Thank you for the super chat, Panda. That is awesome to see. Thank you. Thank you. That is very cool. Max investment equals 600 pulls. Yeah. And I know. So I'm thinking we can do one in there. But I know you said Zora and then you said Matria. Zora, I think we have Zora. We have a copy of Zora in there. So we have Zora. And then Matria, I don't know. Matria is older. We do have a copy in there. So we have them. But that is awesome to see the super chat in there, guys. Very, very cool. Go for what you think. All right, we're going to do Astrilda. So single copies, like you just said, Finn. We have Thorin, we have Zora, we have Matria. So we are good. Check, check, check on all three of those. Let's come in here. Let's pull for Astrilda. Now, remember, it is roughly 600 like we said. Better hold for Falks. I'm thinking the release. If it takes less than 600, that'll still leave us around 5. The release of Falks will give us about 100. That'll put us around 6. I think we're going to be good for Falks. Even thinking of the release, even thinking of the discounted summons, we're going to be able to get Falks on there as well, which is going to be interesting. So let's get Astrilda in here, guys. Now, we already have one copy. This is going to be important to make sure that we know what we're pulling out of here because we already do have one copy. I want to see how many it's going to take. So boom, right there. So copy number 2. So that does give us 2. Got to keep an eye out for the diamonds too, because I want to hit that 30,000 diamond mark. And again, Falks, I feel like we're going to be good with the summons for Falks. Come on, where is the next copy? Boom, there we go. That is copy number 3. All right, so we're 3 copies in. That takes our copies up to Legendary Plus. Again, got to pay attention. Seeing that red chest with those diamonds, I miss it a lot because it doesn't have any glow. It doesn't have any effect. And it also looks like the regular chests in here that we do pull. Boom, there's another single copy. That gives us 1 additional. We need 2 more, and that will take us up to Mythic in there. What's going on, Carol? Just wanted to say hi and show respect and love. Thank you for joining us. It's awesome doing the live stream. I love doing the summons. It is very cool to see. It's been a while since we've done this viewer summons. All right, so just 1 more single in there. So we need 1 more, and that will take Astrilda up to Mythic. Come on, hopefully we get a double or a triple in here. I would love to see some back-to-back pulls. And again, I want to see those diamonds. There we go. So that is going to be just 1 more single, giving a lot of these bizarre totems. But that takes us to Mythic. So we need 3 more copies. And those last 3 will take us up to Mythic Plus. And then 3 more for Ascended. Boom. Pretty quick on that one. Just another single. So we need 2 more. to go up to Mythic Plus. Then, of course, we'll swap over to the Stargazer, and we will finish out the hero there within the Stargazing. There we go. Just another single. One more. Come on, I know we went through a lot of copies in here. What's going on, Sour? It has been a while since I've seen you. How are you, brother? Thank you for letting me use Keldon. That's very, very cool to see. And there is our copy, and it's a double. It is a double, guys. We were looking for that. Let's build this one up because I believe that leaves us 2 after that double. All right, so there we go. After that double, I think we only need 2 more copies, which again means that we're going to be able to save some of these cards in the entirety. Anytime that we can get these closer, that we can get them easier, because there is our mythic. Boom, signature item unlocked. And again, we have more than enough resources to build this out. So we do need 2 more. We are looking for 2 more copies, and Estrilda will be up to Ascended, which is awesome. Just did my first purchase in the Crystal Vault. Oh, the Crystal Vault. Bringing the luck. Yep, Sour did bring the luck. We need 2 and only 2 copies, guys. What are we at? 732. Come on, guys. We need some good luck to finish this out. Hopefully it's not going to burn through a crazy amount of cards for these last 2, or if we're going to get both of these together. I would love to see both of them together. Boom, there we go. So 1 more copy, and it's just a single. So we need 1 and only 1. Come on, diamonds. Where are the diamonds? Yeah, I mean, not too bad at all for the summons. Boom, there's our last one. Just another single, but that is it. That is very cool. All right, so that brings us to 622. Now remember, Falks, the Awakened version of Falks is coming up on Tuesday. We are going to get roughly 100 time emblems, which is going to bring us on this account to 722. That is going to give us more than enough to actually build that out in the entirety. So I'm happy. I'm happy with where we are. That way we can build Falks, which of course is going to be a Graveborn hero. But that does take Estrilda. We need 3 copies out of the Stargazer to add the star and add and build that on there. So very cool. Normally they upsell the white chest like crazy. Never pick up the white chest. All right. So once we get a hero up to that Ascended level, we can pop over here, drop Estrilda in here. Now we need 3 copies to build Estrilda up. We have 1,000 Stargazer scrolls and 194K in here. We need 3 copies to build this out in the entirety, getting the engraving on there. Still looking for the diamonds. There's copy number 1. Pretty easy. That was only 3 pulls. Do get some gear out of there. Where are the diamonds? I would still love to see them, guys. Anytime that we can pull the diamonds. Getting a lot of tier stones. There is copy number 2. Just need 1 more, and Estrilda is done. More gear right there. Graveborn card. Got a lot of stuff for the Ghoulish Gallery too. Should be this pull. Boom, there it is. Copy number 3. All right, so Estrilda's done, which is awesome. All I can tell you is he spent more away than I did. Wesley can push Lightbearer Tower really well. Oh, what's going on, Shooty? I didn't even see Shooty come in. Thank you for joining us for the stream. Awesome to see. Again, Shooty makes a lot of guides over on Reddit, makes a lot with companions. That is awesome. I'm talking about high difficulty. Just got to chapter 58. So proud it's free to play. That is awesome, Carol. Yeah, 58 chapters. That is good. This account is going to be able to absolutely crush it with everything that we built in here. It's going to be kind of massive to see. All right. So again, we were talking about Stargazer and looking at who we're building. So we do have Demia built out. We have Ulna built out, which is good. Going to have to get furniture, which we have there on Ulna. So we're looking at Aurelia, and I'm thinking Knox. I think those are going to be the 2 big ones that we're looking to build out of here. Again, we have Demia already built. Aurelia, we do not. Knox, Saramina would be good choices, which we do have an unlock right there for Saramira. And then again, looking at building up Knox, we do have an Elite Plus copy of Knox. Those are going to be the focuses. Those are going to be the ones that we're going to build right now as we're building it. PvE, Estrilda tank, and does damage like a whale. I like it. In my 6 years, I've never pulled the 30K. No way. We're gonna pull it. We're gonna pull it for you. Come on, little Slayer. We're gonna pull it. We need the good vibes in here. We're gonna go ahead and build out, and I'm thinking Aurelia. So let's do Aurelia first. 30,000 diamonds in 6 years. Never seen the 30K diamonds. Come on, you heard us, AFK Arena. We know we need some streaming luck in here. Got another piece right there of gear, getting a lot of gear in here. And there we go. There is Aurelia. Now remember, built a little bit different than we see with the regular Awakened Heroes because we only need those 2 copies, but that takes it to Elite Plus with those copies we got. Boom. There's one more, so we need one additional one will take us to Legendary. And I'm thinking that's where Aurelia is at, getting built up to Legendary. There's another copy. So 2 more should take us to Legendary Plus. And I got to keep count of these so we don't overbuild. And 4 more should take us to Mythic. Come on, where are the diamonds, guys? If it's never been pulled on here, I want to see it. Boom, there's another copy. So we got 3 left in here. 666 left. Come on, diamonds. We usually get them at least once with this amount. 1 more copy. That brings us down to 2. Just need 2. There's 1 more. Back-to-back copies right there. Very nice. 1 more should take us to Mythic. Come on. Where's a double or a triple in here? That would be absolutely epic to see more gear. Boom. There's our other copy. Let me make sure, guys, that we're at Mythic Plus in here. Because that should be 4 Elite Plus. Yep, so there's Legendary, Legendary Plus, and Mythic. Now remember, we need 2 to get to Mythic Plus, and we need 4 to get to Ascended. That is going to be another 6 copies we need out of here, which is kind of crazy. Read Falk's Alt Cleanse and read Last Ability on the upcoming Nightmare Corridor boss. They build them for the boss. Yeah, and they really do. They really build them. It seems like that's how they build them. So 6 more copies, guys. Come on, let's get lucky with these pulls. Don't want to burn through everything here, just pulling Aurelia. There we go, 5 copies left. Come on, where are the diamonds? I'm willing it into the game. 5 copies of Aurelia left. We'll take her up to that Ascended level. There's 1, so 4 left. Come on, double or triple. There we go, 3 left. That was only 2 pulls away. Come on, we still have a lot of diamonds to use in here too. I know it's still a crazy amount of chests left, but we need 3 more copies, 2 more copies. Still no diamonds yet. Is Little Slayer's account cursed? Are we not going to see the diamonds in here? Come on, 2 left in here. That should bring us up to that Ascended level. Boom, 1 last copy will be Ascended. Hopefully it'll be a double or a triple, and there we go. All right, so let me make sure Ascended. That should build it up a little bit further. 3 more copies. Again, we don't want to risk overbuilding any of these just because of the sheer cost. All right, so there's Ascended. I don't think we have any additional copies of Aurelia, which we do not. All right, so 2 more copies. We got to get the engraving on here. A viewer summons. So no res, what is going on? Yes, we're doing a viewer summons. I know we're a little bit over on time, but I absolutely wanted to get these viewer summons done. We need 2 more copies of Aurelia, and she will be done. Looks like someone else is pulling for Knox. A couple players are pulling for Knox up there. Come on, 2 more copies. Boom, there's copy number 1. 1 copy left. And she will be done, which usually the last copy is a double for whatever reason. But I feel like we could do this. Boom, there we go. Just another single. All right, so Aurelia's done. Aurelia is done. Now again, I'd probably go in and I'm going to build out Knox. Max pull Aurelia feel overrated. She works at 1 copy. Honestly, I like how she works and I like when she's built. Again, 1 copy, you'll get the base model. It's like buying a car with no options there, Finn. What's the best character to team up with Envy? Depends who you have built. So Envy requires a little bit of support or some crowd control to do well. I see Envy ran with a lot of different heroes. Also depends the game mode. That is the other one to remember. I'd rather have 7 teams for Treasure Scramble than 6 teams for Nightmare Corridor. There we go. So let's pull for Knox. Knox, of course, does incredibly well with the engraving. There we go. Knox right off the bat. We already had an Elite Plus. So one more copy of Knox will take Knox up to Legendary. Come on, we got a lot more. Boom, there's number 2. That takes us to Legendary. 2 more for this Legendary Plus. And where are the diamonds? Come on, Little Slayer has never seen him on this account. All right, another copy of Knox. We're pulling through Knox pretty quick, which is good. 86 left. Come on. Where is that copy? Boom, another copy of Knox right there. Getting into the diamonds. Look at that. 2 pulls and another copy. Knox is coming a little bit easier than we've seen with Aurelia. There we go. Another copy of Knox right there. Let's see. Yeah, that's why, Shooty. When I look at how many places she's being used, I do like the utility of the hero. There we go. So this takes us to our Legendary Plus. There is our Legendary Plus right there. And there is our Mythic. 6 more. 6 more will go up to that Ascended level. Let's see. Thalia +2 collection is better for PvE than Thane. Didn't summon for her since they added the South Zone. Yeah, South Zone is tough. 6 more copies into the diamonds, guys. Boom, right off the bat. We just pulled a copy, back-to-back copies. Knox, we need another 5. Come on. Want to see those diamonds. There's Knox and a double right there. Absolutely epic. That takes the 5 we need down to 3 in the entirety. Double copies. Awesome to see of Knox. Come on. Could we do it again? Double copies. Again, still haven't seen the diamonds. And these go by quick. There's 1 more copy. We're down to 2. But I love the doubles that we pulled in here, guys. That saves so many resources. And we also have a ton, an absolute ton of cards that we pulled out of here. So there's another single. 1 more copy. Should be up to that Ascended level so we can hop in there and see what exactly we can build. All right. Come on, 1 more. There's 1 more. All right. Let's hop in the Temple of Ascension. Build all these together. There are 3 more copies. Guys, help me set up the wish list. I'm a new player. If you hop it down in some of the guides, you'll see all of the guides in there for setting up the wish list. Absolutely run through there. New player, check out the guide and kind of follow it with the wish list in there. It makes it very, very easy. So we need 2 more. We need 2 more copies of Knox, and Knox will be done. We still have 97. Can we get 2? Should be able to. Hopefully it's going to be easy and quick to pull. There's 1 copy. We got this, guys. We should be able to pull 1 more copy of Knox relatively easy. That will take him up to that engraving, which he does need as a built hero. Come on, 1 more here. Boom, there's our copy. All right, so we got both of them built up. They are both, and we went through a crazy amount of summons in here. Absolutely epic. So there is Knox built up to 1. We got Aurelia built up to 1. And then the rest of these, I'm just going to sit down and save right now, because also remember that we're going to need to build up the awakened version of Falks on Tuesday, do all the summons, get him built up to that Ascended +1 star. That 1 star is going to come with the rest of the diamonds that we have in here. So we're going to have to save these in the entirety. Definitely going to make it, and definitely going to have to save those again, really in the entirety. So we got Aurelia built up from nothing. We got Knox built up. And then of course we did get that awakened version of Astrilda built up in the entirety. We have a crazy amount of resources in here. Yeah, Little Slayer is going to have to come in here and build all of these up, because it's going to be kind of crazy. 2,000 red chests in here, but we have so many resources to build this up. Now, of course, we still do have the Poe coins in here. We still do have all of the beast ground. So I'm gonna have to come in here and I'm gonna have to look at this and see how much more we're gonna have to summon in here, because there's a lot to still do in here. Now, did all the summons out of here. And of course, we have 30 scrolls. I think I'm gonna save them because I know he's been doing the summons regularly in here. Even looking at the Dragon Heart Temple, looking for Skyland. Now, looking where we are right now with Skyland, I kind of looked at this a little bit earlier. Skyland is at Legendary Plus, or Mythic Plus, excuse me. So Skyland, 100%, we want to build Skyland up in the entirety. You can see we got the gear in here. We have the signature items. This is a hero that I absolutely 100% would build and recommend building. If you already haven't built up to this point, makes a big difference. Now you can tell that the kind of split between Lan is at Mythic, even though there's no signature item, there's nothing else on there. Lan is already up on Mythic, so that's kind of tough. And you can also see there were a couple pulls in here. I'm assuming out of regular summons for Leviathan, but finishing out Skyland. Now, when we think of a damage dealer like Skyland, the higher you build Skyland, the better he's going to perform in all of those game modes, because he is a damage dealer. With that being said, he is super dependent on stats. The higher you build him, the plus 40 signature item, he's going to do better. Adding furniture on there, he's going to be a lot stronger. Adding the engraving on there, he's going to be a lot stronger. If you want to get the maximum efficiency out of the damage dealing heroes, you do have to build them up much, much higher. So absolutely, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to continue summoning for Skyland, because again, utility wise, Skyland still does work super well out of there. Awakened Thorin, Skyland gives the additional team. Yeah, and Skyland, like I said, if you're already that deep Mythic Plus building Skyland, there's not a reason to continue. So let's see, fingers crossed, guys, if we can pull a couple more copies of Skyland in here. And again, as much as I love saving all of these resources, you got to build out your damage dealers. You absolutely have to. Getting the plus 40 signature item on there, building out these damage dealers in a greater capacity is a requirement. So there is one single copy, one closer to building out Skyland. Hopefully we can get a double. Hopefully we can get a bigger build on here, and getting him to Ascended, getting the furniture built on here, again, is a game changer when it comes to the damage that Skyland is going to be putting out. Come on, there we go. That is number 2, and it's just a single. We need one more. One more copy of Skyland. Hopefully it's not going to take a lot. And these insignias are so expensive, guys. It is just absolutely crazy with how expensive the insignias are. Now, of course, getting them to Ascended, like we did right there, boom, just another single, but we got him built up to Ascended. 73 left. Could we pull 1 or 2 more? I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we could get at least another single, maybe a double in here to build them out a little bit further. Come on, Skyland. I know we should be able to get one more. And there it is. But can it be more than one? It is just another single out of there. All right. We got what? 3 more. Still going to leave us 1 copy short of getting him all the way up to having the engraving. All right, so let's hop in here. Let's build him out. Yeah, so a couple more copies there for Skyland. Again, we're two copies short. That's it. So this takes us up to the furniture. Furniture, like I said, adding and really stacking a lot of stats in there. Going to make a big difference on how well he really performs. Getting the signature item built out with Lan, again, going to be a really big game changer. Then even looking here at Hildwyn, I thought we got, yeah, we did get those extra copies. I'm going to say, I know we were kind of banking some of those. This is another hero, guys. Engraving, damage mitigation, works incredibly well. Boom, there we go. The engraving unlocked in there. Yeah, that's a lot of draconic heroes, guys. That is a lot of heroes in general. I mean, looking at everything that we've been saving in here and that Little Slayer has been saving for years, those are some really big heroes that we're going to have to build out. Going to have to do the furniture. So I'm going to have to look at this later tonight. Going to hop back in, going to do some Oaken furniture. Beast Ground, we're already at like 52,000. which is insane when it comes to building these out. Beast Resonance, we're going to do, again, a little bit later. We're going to have to do Beast Resonance and the Oaken in the entirety because I know we're significantly over on the summons, but definitely wanted to focus on it, definitely wanted to build these out. And big shout out to Little Slayer for putting this together, guys. We have so many heroes to build in here. We're going to have to hop on the tier list, see about the priorities, and building out a lot of these because now there are so many heroes. Is so much food. Still saved all of those faction summons, which again, thinking of the Noble Tavern and looking at our faction scrolls, going in here and actually building out a lot more when it comes to the Wilders, when it comes to a couple other heroes in here, really going to make a big difference in the progression. And that's why I wanted to take a step back from this for a minute, see exactly where we're at with the summons and see who we need to build out and kind of what level we do need to build them out, as well as using all of those rare tokens as well to go through and build out all of these in the entirety. Sorry, guys. So that is going to do it for the stream. Thank you guys for sticking around for the extended amount of time. Absolutely want to do the summons in here. Now we know Falks is coming up on Tuesday, so it is going to be right around the corner that we're going to be seeing a new hero. Then, of course, looking at all of the stuff that we got in here, it's going to be kind of crazy because level-wise, also want to add levels on here where, I mean, if we're pushing through with the amount of chests that we have in here, you're probably going to gain, I mean, we're talking 4 million plus hero essence in here. It's insane. It's just absolutely insane. Even there, another 57K diamonds. Does Knox need engraving? Yes. If you want Knox to live, the engraving on Knox really does make a big difference. Right down here, successfully offsets fatal damage. The active skill of Double Trouble skill will be triggered. It makes him super, super hard to kill if you're building out Knox, if you do the engraving on him. Same with the signature item, where when you get him and stack some stats on him, he's actually going to be able and have the ability to live a lot longer in formations. Because even thinking of recommended build on a hero like Knox, when we start building out Knox, they recommend, and again, thinking about him being almost towards the top tier, they recommend a 40960 on Knox is where they do, again, kind of recommend. If you have a 30960, it's going to work, but that 60 engraving, again, is the recommendation that they do with the build. Now, of course, prioritizing some of the other heroes like the Awakened version of Astrilda, because if you're missing the signature item, the furniture, or the engraving, you are absolutely going not being able to, you're going to have to go through and unlock all of the skills and abilities that we have with these heroes. So it really does make a big, big difference in there. Please do us an SI 40 priority list pretty soon. Definitely will. Collections are not that expensive. Use MW. Oh, if you don't. Finn, it's just time. People hate collections, and it's kind of the stigma that we've gotten out of the Ghoulish Gallery. Maybe at some point, AFK Arena, and I don't know why, click community, but hopefully AFK Arena will make it a little bit easier to go ahead and build those out in the entirety. All right, guys, so that is going to do it again for today's stream. Thank you guys for joining me. Very, very cool to see. Big shout out to Little Slayer getting ready for that Awakened version of Falks that is coming on Tuesday. So thank you, Van Gogh, for allowing me to do the summons on here. Definitely have a crazy amount to clean up. And like I said, tonight, I'm going to record the Poke Coins. We'll also do the Beast summons in there. That way we can go ahead and finish it out in the entirety. So I want to hop off his account so he can build and do whatever he needs to on here. But again, guys, thank you guys for joining me for the summons. Always, always fun to see. And as always, thank you guys for watching.